Hey guys, so I have new glasses since the last time I vlogged, which I think was Masariki, when we went for the walk in Cornwall Park. That was really nice. But today, I did something I never thought I'd do, and that was that I had an MRI. So if you want to know what that was like and see a few clips of...
Here's some information.
No, not you. Again, she thinks I'm talking to her. Sari always thinks I'm talking to her. Some clips of like on the way there and a little bit of afterwards. I did have to leave my phone like with my belongings, so wasn't able to get any footage of the actual machine, but I did find a screenshot which I'll put here. But the whole experience was amazing, and I'm very pleased to share it with you. So my cardiac MRI was not necessarily a surprise to me because I found out about it in April when I had my echo, and it came back that I had slight ventricular dilation on the right hand side of my heart, and they said that the MRI would be to assess for something called atrial septal defect. They also found that they had problems with the patient body habitus, so basically the fact that I'm A, human, and B, slightly overweight, and C, a woman. So all those factors combined, and then I didn't particularly take well to the cold gel from the echo, so that kind of made things hard for them as well. So there was multiple reasons why the MRI was needed, but I was not aware of like the wait time, and I was told it would be quite a while because I was low priority. And the last time I went to the doctor, we've shifted practices now, but the last time we went to the previous doctor, he eliminated POTS, so postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome, as the cause of my dizziness and breathlessness and my faints. So he said, I'll expedite the cardiac MRI for you, and I thought he was just joking. And then a couple of weeks ago I got this text saying, please ring the cardiology department to schedule your cardiac MRI, and I was like, okay, well, sure. So I rang them, and only had to wait 2 weeks. And so I had that today, and it was amazing. It was actually quite a process before the scan. So 2 to 4 days beforehand, I had to get a blood test done, testing like my troponin and EGFR, creatinine, so how well my heart and kidneys are working, and a complete blood count. And so I did that Thursday, which was 4 days beforehand. And with technology the way it is, the form had been sent digitally to the lab, and so I didn't have to search for it or print it out or anything like that. It was already there waiting for me. I just had to give them my NHI, my what is it, National Hospital Index number, and that was fine, all smooth. I've had plenty of blood tests before, so I know which arm is best, and I know that because of my small veins, a butterfly is best, so I always ask, do you have a butterfly available, because it's a little bit smaller of a needle than the regular Vacutainer that most adults have. And so that was fine. And then I think the worst thing for me was the following rule: do not drink any caffeine for at least 24 hours before the scan. This includes coffee, obviously, tea, cola soft drinks, energy drinks, chocolate drinks, Milo, etc. So not only could I not have coffee, I couldn't even have a hot chocolate, sugar-free hot chocolate. And I had a little bit of milk in the night, but all I drank yesterday was hot water, and I was fine energy-wise, but like I just miss the comfort of being able to drink a nice hot coffee or tea. So I really enjoyed that this morning. And then it was a nil by mouth, so I had to not eat or drink for 4 hours beforehand. If I was diabetic, it would have been 2, but I'm only pre-diabetic, and so I'm treated as just a regular patient. So my scan was at 9:30, so I couldn't have anything from 5:30 onwards. So Mum got up at 7 and had breakfast, and I just laid in bed listening. And I was so jealous, and my stomach was rumbling, and but we actually got there early, and I got in early, which I was relieved at, because going 25 hours without any caffeine is quite frankly horrible. I'm not a caffeine addict by any means, but I did not enjoy that part of the preparation. And because I got there early, I was out early, so I finished at 10:10 instead of 10:30. So that was cool. For anyone that's wondering or doesn't quite know what a cardiac MRI is, it is a specialized scan that allows us to take high quality images of the heart and blood vessels. This test is non-invasive and does not use radiation like x-rays and CT scans. I also had one of those a couple of weeks ago, and it came back normal, so whatever zingers I'm getting in my neck are not from any sort of brain tumor or anything, so that's good. And the white matter was all normal. But for the MRI, a contrast agent is frequently given by a doctor for clearer images. So yeah, easy test and actually quite relaxing. Because I was the first or second patient of the day, they knew to expect me, and so when I walked in, they're like, "Elizabeth?" And I'm like, yeah, that's me. And they asked if I had my screening form, and I did, so I handed that over. I can't remember if I said I had to do a MRI safety and consent form beforehand to make sure that it was safe for me to go through the scan. So it asked questions about, have you had surgeries? Do you have a pacemaker? Have you ever had an injury to the eye involving metal fragments? Do you have any piercings? Are you pregnant? And if you answered yes, you had to ring just to make sure. So the only surgery I've ever had was getting my tonsils out in 2001, so that was a non-issue. And we had a laugh about it because it's been so long. And everyone was just so kind. I sat down in a lazy boy, and then a couple of minutes later, this nurse comes out, Filipino guy, and says, "My name's blah blah blah, and I'll be taking care of you today." And so I followed him down the hallway, and there's 2 changing rooms, and so they grab a gown, they go in with you, and they explain everything, you know, take off your own clothing, especially anything that's got metal in it, and put on the gown, and the gown crosses over like a dressing gown. It's actually very flattering, far more flattering than the one I had for the echo. And so you put your belongings in a little box, and the door is locked on the inside so that nobody can come in during that whole time and like steal your stuff. So it was really good and really safe. So then I got changed into the robe, and I had my lucky pink socks on, so that was nice. They let me keep those on. And they let me keep my glasses with me. They just took them off once I got into the room, so that was good. I didn't have to blindly stumble my way through the corridor. And I said I wasn't sure if I had done it all right. Had I missed anything? And he said, no, you're good. And so then he led me around the corner, and I sat down on another lazy boy, and he put this blanket over me, and then like a couple of seconds later they called me in, and so I had to get up, and so I kept the blanket around my shoulders because it was, you know, a little cool. And they led me in, took my glasses off, and said, have a lay down on this bed here. And then I was like too high up the bed, so they made me wriggle down. And it's easy to wriggle down when you're sitting up, but it's not easy to wriggle down when you're laying flat. Usually at the dentist it was always come further back, but in this case I had to go, you know, further down the bed. So it was strange. And they let me keep the blanket on, so they put that over my like waist downwards, so that I would be nice and warm, because of course they don't want you shaking in the MRI machine. And then on one side of me was my nurse and another technician, and my nurse put ECG dots on, and there's a little device that they attach to that communicates with the scanner and with them what stage of the respiratory cycle your heart is at, so that they can take images at certain points in certain positions that the heart is in. It didn't really make sense to me, but that's what they said. And then they put this, it was almost like a weighted blanket, which I have used one before, but this was kind of different. They called it a coil, so they had it over like my chest and belly, and there was like an antenna on the end of it or something. That's what the guy said. And so while the one guy was putting the dots on, the lady was doing my lure, so that when it came time for the dye to be needed, it just needed to be squirted in. And that hurt, but seems to be my lucky vein, because nobody ever seems to have a problem getting it. And I didn't realize at the time, but there was a cute little like teddy bear sticker on the cover, I guess, because they've got like small hands and wrists and stuff. They probably gave me a kid-sized sticker instead of an adult-sized sticker. And then they put earplugs in my ears, and then headphones on top of that, and I mean, they really worked. I don't usually use earplugs, but I guess it's kind of essential for the MRI. But before they put it in, I said, gosh, it sounds like someone's running a marathon, because it kind of goes and they said, oh, that's a compressor, it's keeping the inside of it cool. And it was nice and cool in there. It was actually very refreshing. And while he was explaining everything to me, while we were going over the screening form, he asked if there was any particular music that I wanted played. And I said, oh, can you play Hillsong, which is, you know, worship music. And so when the scan started, the Hillsong music came on, and it was really hard not to sing along. I managed. Sometimes I mouthed the words in between pictures, but it really helped keep me calm, and just like the gentle rhythms of the music, just I was so chill. I didn't want to like get up afterwards. And I probably had to breathe in, breathe out, and hold my breath about 50 or 60 times. So 2/3 of it done was done without the contrast, and then the last third was done with that. I got a fright every time the thing moved. You know, like sometimes they adjust your position slightly, or I had to come out completely to have the contrast dye put in, but it was so relaxing. And they were all so kind. I would have no problem going back there again. It's possible I may have to have more scans in future, but if I get to go there, I'll feel totally at peace and totally calm. And I'm not sure how long the results will take, but I really hope it shows something. And I also, because it's a part of like the Auckland University Teaching Hospital program, like the health sciences thing, because where I usually go for my scans, that doesn't quite have the technology required for cardiac MRIs. So that was why I had to go to the fancy MRI place, which is part of the Auckland University Health Science Department. And so I've given my permission for my scans to be used in teaching studies. So I feel kind of a bit like a pioneer, and I hope that if it does show something, that it's able to be used in a really useful way in their lectures and workshops. And then afterwards, when I could finally eat and drink again, we went for a wee drive through the domain, but there was no at the Auckland domain. It's right near the hospital, so it was, you know, really easy to just drive through, but there was no parks near the Winter Garden, which was where we were wanting to go afterwards. So we just drove back out and went back the way we came, and we stopped at a cafe called Cream. There's a few of them around, and we had the most divine donuts. We shared a couple, so we got a strawberry cream and a Boston cream, and we cut each of them in half. And then I said, I've only got a certain amount of money, but I really want something savory. Is there anything for that price? And she said, yeah, you can have this or this. And then she showed me and recommended what she liked, and so I tried it, and it was this most divine garlic and cream cheese and cheese roll / twist. Oh my gosh, where has this been all my life? It was amazing. And then we went and got an apple cutter, because yesterday I chopped up probably about 12 or 13 apples by myself, and because we didn't have an apple corer anymore, I had to do it with, you know, just like a regular knife, and I probably missed heaps of usable stuff, but I cut that all up and stewed it up, and that'll be nice. But you know, it would have been so much easier and faster with the corer, so we bought one of those so that A, we can eat good fresh apples, and B, if I want to stew apples again, I don't have to take so long. I mean, you get so hot cutting apple after apple after apple. But I did well. Only one seed made it into the pot. And yeah, after we bought the apple corer, we went for a drive to one of the farms around the area. And the other day when we were down there, we happened to catch the bottle feeding of the lambs, and today when we were down there, we happened to catch the shearing. So for the first time in my life, I got to see real life sheep shearing going on, and it was just so fascinating. They really have some spunk and some energy to them, you know, but oh, they look so cute and tidy afterwards, and like you could tell that the rangers that were doing it, they really like love their jobs and really care for the animals. So that was so beautiful to watch. And then we came home and our internet has been out most of the day because some person thought it would be fun to cut the fiber cable, and so like 3 suburbs, possibly more, had no internet and no landline. So instead of coming home and watching Netflix after my scan, I had to work on the jigsaw and nap. But yeah, I made it through my cardiac MRI. Hopefully that's the last investigation I have to have, but if it brings answers, I'm really happy. And tomorrow I have a interview for a job. It's a 6-month contract, but it's at a finance place doing admin, so it's kind of a bit closer to my degree than, say, what I was doing. And then I have physio at 12 tomorrow, because when we were at the laundromat last week, I picked up the basket of dry clothes and something in my back went pew. So I have a lumbar sprain and possibly a herniated disc, but there may have to be another MRI to determine if that actually is the case. But I am just happy to have the MRI out of the way so that I can focus on job hunting. Thank you for listening to me rant, and enjoy the pictures afterwards. Hello.